BLESS TV. We are back for another episode. My name is Jess. We've got Lauren hosting here with me, and we got our guest Dom that we're going to introduce later. Great to have you guys with us. And for those who have never been before, welcome to BLESS TV. We are a society called BLESS. We started on Brighton and Sussex campuses just a few years ago, and because of the pandemic, we decided we're going to bring what we do online, which is basically coming together, speaking about relevant subjects, and also just bringing in community and having some food together, giving you some food later. Exciting times. So let's explore some questions, explore things that we're all talking about together. But Lauren, why don't you tell us specifically about what to expect on today's episode?
So today we are going to be on the down low on what goes on behind the scenes in the wards. We're going to have Arnold answering a juicy question, and of course a chance to win a takeaway, so stay tuned for that.
So guys, you've got all of that to look forward to, but like we say, we have got Dominic here. Hey bro!
Whoa! Oh.
That was terrible timing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so Dom, it'd be great if you could tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, what you're up to.
Yeah, of course. So my name's Dominic. I was born in Ghana, but I grew up in London. So I grew up in Croydon, South East London. And I'm currently working for BLESS Hospital, so Aberystwyth. So yeah.
That is Dom in a nutshell. Guys, you have got a legend on the show this evening. Dom is so fun, and I'm so excited to catch up with you and get to know the life behind the scenes of med life a little bit more. But before we crack into our questions, Dom, you are in for a treat because we are going to do our quick fire human body questions that is coming up. So each week at BLESS, we do this thing where we ask our med student or doctor some questions, and what's going to happen is if you get 2 out of the 3 questions right, an NHS worker is going to get a free meal. And Dom, because you work for the NHS, this meal is going to you, my friend. So are you ready to win it quick?
Let's go. Let's do this.
What is the name of the tiny air sacs found in your lungs?
I'll be like.
You got it. Dominic, 1 out of 2. Yeah. Come on, bro. That is right. Okay, well, Dom, you've already said, you're working in cardiology. Maybe do you want to unpack a little bit of kind of what the highs and lows of your day-to-day looks like? Kind of take us through your journey at work. Good, bad, ugly. We want to know what through.
My schedule sort of varies really, so sometimes it's 9 to 5, sometimes you're doing 9 to 9, so that's the long days where you sort of cover all the wards in the hospital. So if there's anything that needs doing after everyone's left after 5, they'll sort of like bleep you to come and do those sort of things. All in all though, it has some great times. I think actually some of the colleagues that you work with absolutely make the job. And then it also has its lows, of course. So I think in the last couple of weeks, we've had quite a few patients come in and actually sort of like die on the wards as well. And I think that's probably some of the hardest things to deal with, especially as a fresh-faced junior doctor working on the ward. Having someone die under your care it can be very difficult. And there was one particular gentleman that his death really sort of like got to me quite a bit, because we were trying to just get him home to spend his last days with his wife, and we just weren't able to do that. So that was a bit difficult. But like I say, it's like everything else, it definitely has its highs. The people you work with definitely make the job. There is banter in the office that just makes the day go quicker, and it just makes the job enjoyable.
Yeah, that sounds like such a mixed bag. And I feel like there's no way as well to prepare you for some of that stuff. So when you went from studying medicine to like working full time, how was that transition? Was it like a big jump, or did you kind of like fade in nicely?
No, it was definitely a big jump. I think at uni, you might go in, spend a few hours in lectures and things like that. And let's be honest, there were some lectures you would, after 15 minutes, you would sort of zone out. But sort of doing the job, you're sort of constantly being challenged. it was a big jump from sort of student life to actually doing the job. And as much as I think they teach you the concepts at university, there is nothing like doing the actual job. It's just one of those things where I think you just have to do it to actually put some of those sort of like theoretical things into action. And that's probably the best way you actually learn to do the job, as opposed to sitting in the lecture theatre.
Well, what better way to come back and test your knowledge, Dom, because we're going to go on to another round of quick fire questions on the human body. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Okay. Your next question is,
Yes.
what is the largest muscle in the human body?
I am going to say your latissimus dorsi, so the muscle at the back.
Well,
Oh dear.
I googled it, so I'm not a doctor.
Yes. Let's go. Let me.
You're behind. Think you're.
Your glutes.
You're glutinous.
Gluteus maximus.
Yes. I want to give you the point, but I don't think I can. Dom, don't worry. We'll come back to the interview. Compose yourself, and then we'll go back into your quick fire question. You got some time. It's all good. I believe you can redeem yourself, bro. Is there things that you didn't expect to see when you entered full-time work life? Like, nobody taught me how to do this. Nobody told me to expect this situation. Yeah, is there anything that kind of took you off guard?
So it's a real humbling process for you to come into the job and be like, actually, yes, I've gone through the degree, I've done this, that, and the other, but I can't do this by myself. Like, there are several things that I still don't know. Do you see what I mean? So you are very much reliant on other people to say, oh, actually, I need to learn this. You know a bit more than I do. Let me actually humble myself and actually learn from you that this is how you do this and this is how you do that.
That's good. That does take a lot, doesn't it, to enter a job and be like, oh, I've studied this for 6 years. How do I not know this already? But
Absolutely.
Well, Dom, if you're ready, I know I am. There is one last question, a quick fire question. Are you ready?
Let's do this. I'll give it a shot.
Your next question and final question is,
Yeah.
what is the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes?
Aha, there we go. So the easiest way to put it is what we call absolute or relative deficiency in insulin. So in type 1 diabetes, your body isn't able to produce any insulin at all. So whereas in type 2, it's sort of like a progressive disease. So it's, like I say, absolute, as in your body can't produce at all, or relative, so that steady process where your body destroys its own cells such that it can't make insulin.
You got it right, bro! Well, I did not understand half the things you just said. You mean it. Well done. A free meal is coming your way, Dom. Well done.
Thank you.
Now, Dom, we happen to know that you are a Christian. So we would love to know what effects your faith have had during your work experience on the wards.
I guess the biggest impact it's had on sort of working life has been just loving people. Honestly, just having a heart to just love and serve people, and it's a heart that only sort of Jesus gives. It's something that he modeled for us when he was on this earth. When you look at his ministry, that was one of the things that absolutely characterized everything that he did on this earth. And I think that's sort of stuck with me as I've sort of started work now. And I remember one of the things that they taught us at uni is that half the job is how you make people feel. And as much as sometimes the world may sort of like say superficial things to sort of encourage people and just encourage a bit of self-centeredness, we know that Jesus actually encourages us and says, look outside of yourself Do you see what I mean? And where I've met some of those believers, it's like, you know what? Yes, you're here and you're in your darkest hour now, but look outside of yourself. Run with that and just continue looking outside of yourself. And even the people that aren't believers, just taking the time to actually just serve them and be like, you know what? Okay, this has happened to you. I'm going to really take the time and just listen to you and just serve you. Honestly, I think that's one of the biggest privileges of the job. It's that whole servant attitude. It's a heart that only Jesus gives, because, like we know, we are just very self-centered creatures.
Dom, we love having you here, and I'm sure everyone else has loved having you here too. Bro, thank you so much for coming on and sharing great wisdom and great behind the scenes. It has been great to have you, and enjoy that free meal.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me. It's been good. It's been really, really good.
Okay, so now it's the time that you may have all been waiting for at home. Guys, we've got the spotlight question, so you know what that means. We got the question. You have to write the answer as fast as you can in the chat below. First person to get it right gets the takeaway of your choice. Ooh, you're not even ready. Okay, where is urine stored before it passes, guys? Where's it stored? Come on, give us the answer. We'll get in contact with you and there'll be a takeaway of your choice heading your way.
Very exciting. I'm just going to take away the word urine from my screen now. Hopefully you've seen it by this point. You guys get chatting in the chat. We look forward to giving you a prize. But in the meantime, we are continuing on with our series on suffering. Arnold is going to come on, give us an answer to the question, why is there suffering, from a different perspective today. So Arnold, over to you.
Thank you so much for bringing me in. It's so good to continue this theme that we've been looking at on suffering. If you haven't watched the different talks that I've been giving on suffering before, then please go back and watch them. We've been looking at whether a loving God can allow suffering, an all-powerful God can allow suffering. God can allow evil. Well, how can God allow evil? Today, we're going to be looking at, is God trustworthy in the midst of suffering? You know, I used to have somebody who would work for me. She was my assistant, and I used to give her jobs here and there to do. And I'd say, you know what, yeah, she can do this, she can do that. Yeah, I don't need to do that one. Anyway, one day we hired an operations consultant, and she had taken us through an exercise where we wrote down all of the list of, we wrote down a list of things that we had to do for the business. And the person whose list was longest was my assistant. She would say, I've got to do this, and then I've got to do that, and I've got to do that, and I've got to do that. And my mouth nearly hit the ground because I was so shocked by the amount that she had to do. I thought she was barely doing anything. Turns out she was pretty much running the business. You know, some people have this idea of God, that he is ignorant of our suffering. He has no idea the kind of suffering that we go through. He's some king that's up in the sky, that's, living this cushy life, and we're just down here suffering, and he's expecting us to worship him and to love him and all of that. Is that the case? Well, when it comes to Christianity, it's not the case. God himself went through our suffering, and he did it for us. So when we suffer, we know that we're approaching somebody who knows what it's like to suffer. And in fact, his love for us while we were suffering is shown and is made evident when he was on the cross and he was dying. He noticed his mom who was losing her son. And he said, "Woman, this is your son." He was restoring her loss of a son by giving John the Apostle to Mary. Even in the midst of suffering, he was caring for these people. And he decided to suffer so that we can be in a relationship with him. He took on our suffering, took on our sin, our guilt, our pain. And while he was taking that on, the people that had put him on the cross, he was saying, God, please forgive them. And he took that on so that we could have a relationship with him, with God. We can know that even though we're suffering, he suffered, and he's wanting to show us the best. He's wanting to be with us and support us during that time because he knows what it's like. God will be with you in the times that you're suffering. He is trustworthy. Some of you might actually be suffering right now. You've got to know that God is not ignorant to your suffering at all. He is trustworthy when it comes to things like that. And you will know for certain that even though your situation may not be fixed straight away, God is definitely a God that will be with you throughout that time. He promises, and we can trust his promises because he rose from the dead, that one day your suffering will be dealt with. And even though it isn't dealt with right now, he will be with you in the midst of it and give you peace from it. So definitely trust that God is a trustworthy person in the midst of suffering, and see why he's still definitely somebody worth considering in spite the fact that suffering does exist. Thank you so much. And guys, over to you.
Arnold, thank you so much for coming on and answering such a big question yet again. We love to hear it. We love to have it. If you have more questions, please feel free to write them in the chat. But in the meantime, we have something for you. If you are curious about the Christian faith and you want to explore more questions, what is all this stuff that Arnold is on about? Well, let me tell you about a little thing called Alpha. This is a place where we get together online once a week. We come, we explore big questions like, who is this Jesus person? Is he real? Why do you all believe in him? Where's the evidence and proof of that? We're going to answer all of those questions right here. So if you want to come and join us, if you want to find out more, here's a little link. Sign up, come and join us. And Dom, you've been on Alpha before, right?
I absolutely have, and I absolutely recommend it. If you guys can get down to it or join in the session, definitely try and join in.
It's a jolly good time, guys. It's a jolly good time. But there's also something else to tune into this evening if you're free. Lauren, what would that be?
We have got Student Hangout once again coming at you, 6 p.m. online. There'll be a link. If you follow the link down there, you got it, guys. Come on, come through for us. We've got games, we've got chatting, we've got teaching. You cannot get enough. We love it.
So guys, if you've never checked out church before, or maybe you have and you want to just join another church, join us. Hey, we're here. Bless is affiliated with Emmanuel Church. This is a church that you can join in with. Come through. We'd love to have you, no matter what background, no matter what interests or beliefs. You're welcome. But in the meantime, guys, that is the end of Bless TV. So sad, but it has been so great to have you guys with us. Thank you again, Dom, for coming through. Guys, come back again next week at 4:30 on a Sunday. But in the meantime, guys, have a lovely rest of your day, and we'll see you again next time. Bye!
Bye.